I just want to hear this whole story from your perspective.
Yeah. So one, that was like it went from like such an epic, like I remember that day was like just so epic. Like I got up and me and Noah, my other buddy Nick, a couple of us ran, and Barton ran the trail behind there, got in the creek, went and got tacos, coffee, like just a great vibe that whole day. And then I was looking forward to doing this timed mile because, truth be told, I haven't done a timed mile no, that's not true. I did one in 2021 where I did like a 6-minute mile, but I wasn't even like a runner. I was just doing, there's this fitness test, and it tests all these weird things. It tests like your mile time, like your bench, like your squat, your deadlift, your like flexibility. I did this whole weird fitness test a while back. So anyway, I ran like a 6-minute mile, and it was tough. But
do you remember the name of that?
No, but I'll find it.
Okay.
I'm
curious.
We'll dive into it after this. So anyway, I hadn't done a timed mile, and I'd done like a couple marathons, a couple ultra, 5K, 10K, all that stuff. But I hadn't done like an all out mile. So I was excited, and I wanted to get a sub 5-minute mile, even though I really hadn't even been. I took a break from running. I hadn't even been running over the past couple of months because I was having some knee issues, and then I moved, and I was like, you know what, like just taking a break from running for a little bit.
Yeah, because I was after was it the 50K you did that kind of?
Yeah, I did the 50K, and it was like my knee was already busted from when I tried to do the sub 3 and just failed miserably. My knee was just so banged up, and I tore my ACL in college, so my left knee has taken a beating through that, and all the running, just like jumping right into running and running, 40, 50 miles a week for a year was just tough on it. So the pups,
dude, you're always somewhere messing with something. Anyway, sorry.
All good. So anyway, went out to run the 5, ran out to run the mile the next day. I think we started at like 7 or 8 or something like that. And we were supposed to be at Yellow Jacket Stadium, but we ended up being at Austin High School track. And that will be prevalent in a minute as to why that matters. But it was like last second change. We ended up going to Austin High School track. I was there. It was me, Bray from Squatch.
Yep.
This guy Gunther, Gus, and Harry from the Meat Mafia. They were all there. So Gunther and Gus went first, and they both ran like 5-minute miles, like boom, on the dot. And the rest of us, we were like getting videos of them as they would round each corner and whatnot.
Nice.
And that was kind of like the last thing. That's kind of like the last thing that I really remember was like dabbing them up and giving them props, like, well, yeah, you guys just did it, let's go. And then me and Bray went, and I like vividly remember like pressing go on my watch and like starting to run, but the actual mile I really don't remember anything. I like vividly remember Harry calling out like 2:30 like after we ran like the first 800, so we were cooking. And then I don't remember anything after that. Jeez. So what happened was I finished the mile, 5:15. So not, it is what it is. We'll have to get some redemption at some point. But Bray ran 5:06. I ran 5:15, and it was like 5 or 10 minutes after the run. So like, yes, I had cardiac arrest. But it didn't happen like a normal one is, or like, like Bronny James, he was playing basketball and he just like went down. DeMar Hamlin for the Bills, like he just went down. Actually, his was similar to mine where he got hit. He went down, like he came back up and then he went back down.
That was the Bills guy?
Yeah, that was the guy on the Bills. So mine was similar to that because it was like 5 to 10 minutes after. They came over to like check on me. I was like huffing and puffing. I was just like, it looked like anybody who just ran like an all out mile was trying to catch their breath. It's super hot and I'm sweating, but they were like, okay, like I was at least like giving them like, I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm okay. And then I like went down to my hands and knees, and then like, they were like, yo, like he doesn't look good. And then like I went down, hit my head on the track, like was down for, probably 15 seconds. and they called an ambulance, and there was a firefighter that just happened to be on the track that day. He came over, but then like I like popped back up. It was the first time I was like coherent, and I was talking to them. I was like, Harry, don't call the ambulance. Like, I'm good. I'm chilling. I don't know if it was like adrenaline was going through my veins or what was going on, but yeah, like I popped back up and I was talking, and I was like, my heart rate like came back down. And then after a couple minutes of, they had me like sitting up, and I was like, I'm fine or whatever. Granted, I don't remember any of this. And then all of a sudden, like, I went down again. And this time, like, I convulsed, like, had a seizure, like,
Jeez.
Completely went purple. Harry was like, I put my hand on your arm and it was cold. Like, I was like legitimately flatline dead for 90 seconds. And the firefighter who was there on the track, as well as Gus, who was CPR certified, literally saved my life through CPR. They took turns, like, resuscitating me, like doing the thing on my chest.
Damn.
And I wasn't breathing under my own power, but they were able to get a pulse back until the ambulance got there. Ambulance got there, hooked me up, took me to the hospital, and I was on the ventilator for 24 hours. Which they knew, like, at a certain point, they knew like I was going to be okay. Probably like 6 or 7 hours into it, they were like, he's going to be okay. Or maybe it might have been later than that. I think it might have been like 12 hours or whatnot. But yeah, I was on the ventilator for 24 hours. They tried to take me off a few times, and I couldn't breathe under my own power. Dang. And they had called my mom. Harry had like somehow got into my phone, and like my emergency contact was my mom, which I don't even know how you get into there and like access your emergency contact, but apparently there's a way to do it. And like, I think we should all learn how to do that, because you never know.
I was doing it on accident, but I never know how I
right.
actually
Yeah,
did
exactly. So apparently, like, you may or may not have somebody in there as your emergency contact, but like I have my mom in there. And luckily she knew Harry. She had met him when she had helped me move down to Austin, and he was like, hey, this is what's happening. This is a situation. Like, jeez. You need to get here, because like they didn't think I was gonna make it. If anything, they thought I was gonna like have like severe brain damage. That's a lot of the things, like when people survive these cardiac arrests, they have serious brain damage.
It's because they're like cut off of oxygen.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I honestly am not 100% sure about it, but a cardiac arrest is different than a stroke or a heart attack. Right. Whereas like a cardiac arrest is more like there's something that throws off the rhythm of like your heartbeat, and something caused me to have an arrhythmia, which is an irregular heartbeat, which sent me into cardiac arrest. But it was interesting because it wasn't like I was just running and then all of a sudden like I dropped on the track. Like it was a couple minutes after when I went down, and then I got back up and I went down again. So they called my mom. She was like frozen, obviously, as any mother would be.
Yeah.
And she woke up my brother, who had just gotten his license like the week before. And she's like, I need you to fly me to like the Lehigh Valley Airport, which in Pennsylvania is just like this tiny little airport, like an hour and a half away from my house. They hit like crazy traffic. They get there, miss the flight.
Oh God. And
then they've got to drive like all the way back to Philly. And she like barely makes it onto a flight. Had to go to Miami to Austin. Didn't get there until like 10:30 at night. And I think by this point, I hadn't opened my eyes. I hadn't been super responsive, and apparently, like when my mom came in, like I just like her presence, I just like lit up, and I had like opened my eyes for the first time.
Oh wow!
Still wasn't able to like breathe under my own power, but which is kind of crazy. There's like videos of me. It's like super trivial. Like I'm like sitting in the hospital, I'm like sitting like on the ventilator, and like my eyes are open, and I'm just like looking around, and they're like trying to talk to me, and I'm just like completely incoherent.
Do you remember any of that?
No, dude, no, nothing. Dude. Like literally nothing. I don't remember anything. So they finally took me off the ventilator like 24 hours later, and I'm obviously like super high on pain pills and like fentanyl and these other drugs that are keeping me alive. So I'm freaking on a cloud. I'm so high off of these freaking medications. And I look and I see it's like Sean's there, like my mom's there, Harry's there, my buddy Nick is there. There's like a crew of people in there, and I was just like woke up and apparently I was like, what are you guys doing here? Like I was like I like didn't understand. I didn't know like I was in the hospital or whatever. And then like that's like all I remember. I remember them like looking like they were balloon animals. Like that's like my first. That was like the first thing I remember. And then I really don't remember anything like that whole rest of the day. Just I remember them like telling me like, yeah, you had a cardiac arrest, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. So like, you know, like truthfully, I was like,
That's so
I was like, what does
crazy.
that mean? So like, they kind of just told me everything that happened. They transferred me to They transferred me to like the other hospital up near UT.
Yeah.
And like to the cardiology department. And so I like vividly remember like getting put back into like an ambulance and then like driving me to the other hospital.
Jeez.
And
So how long were you in that first one for?
I was in the first one only for like, I mean, I got there like right after obviously I had the cardiac arrest. I was there for 30 hours maybe. And then I got transferred to the other one, and that was on Sunday. And so I was there until I was able to leave on Saturday. So I was there for like about a week. And then just getting tons of tests done, like procedures, like every single day I was like, I got an MRI or I got a cardiac, like echocardiogram or, you know, EKGs and like just every test under the sun. And I literally like got discharged from the hospital and they like still had no idea what had happened to me.
That's so crazy.
And so now I have a defibrillator in my side right here underneath my clothes. You know, I'm just show it. So
That's it.
Live action.
Here we go.
Live action here.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Is it? Oh, so it's that big?
yeah, dude. So it's like the size of like it's like half the size of a cell phone. And
oh
then,
my gosh.
That's right there. And then obviously the incision is right there. That goes from here.
That's wild.
And then there's a wire that goes right here where this incision is. And then this wire, you can see there, goes up to my heart.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah, so I was surfing in Malibu like a couple weeks ago, and like just laying on the surfboard, just like after like an hour, I was like of getting just knocked off my surfboard. I was like, I'm done. But
can you feel it in there, like just on a regular?
Yeah,
basis?
I mean, like it. So I was under like I was in so much pain for like the first couple of weeks after. Like the procedure is very like invasive, and I couldn't like lift anything with my left arm. Like I couldn't sleep. Like it would hurt to breathe. I had an allergic reaction to all the adhesives that they were putting on me, so I broke out in hives like all over the place. Beef tallow, by the way, great for rashes and irritations. Yeah, dude. Huge.
Interesting.
It's another rabbit hole of an episode, but yeah, dude. So since then, they were like, and to this day, like I still don't have a definitive answer as to what happened. So they thought that it was myocarditis, which is like the leading cause of cardiac arrests in young athletes. And they kind of ran all the tests and things like that. And there was some inflammation in my heart, but they weren't sure if it was because I just had a cardiac arrest or like if I actually just had an enlarged heart. And after like I had to go back like a week or two after, like a week after. And they're like, yeah, like it's your heart's like the structure of everything was fine. So when you have a cardiac arrest, there's really two reasons why. One is like there's something structurally wrong with the heart, which there wasn't with me, or there's something along like with the electrophysiology of the heart, like, you know, the electrical circuitry of the heart. And when you get into that, it's just like so like in the weeds of there's a whole multitude of like different factors, right? But like all of my, like they took my blood work, like nothing was off. like everything like looked fine. And so like on paper, it was like, why did this happen? I have a very low resting heart rate, but I'm also just like a fit person.
Right.
So like my resting heart rate's like in the low 40s, which is low, but
That's normal for an athlete.
yeah, that's exactly. So
Interesting.
yeah, they thought it could have been something called long QT syndrome, which is something that you're born with, where it's kind of the same thing. Like you have a low resting heart rate, and then like long QT means like you could like your heart beats like it doesn't beat in time because it's like slower, and then if it doesn't like beat in time, it can throw it off, and like you can have like little arrhythmias in your heart. It's like little, whatever throws your heartbeat off.
Yeah.
But they found that like, okay, that's not it either. Their biggest suspicion right now is that there was something called a channelopathy. So your heart has these different ion channels that pump like minerals or electrolytes like in and out of your heart. And when you have a channelopathy, it's basically a disease that develops in one of these ion channels.
Oh, wow.
So it could be like a disease like in a channelopathy in like the calcium ion channel or the potassium or the magnesium one or something like that. But they haven't figured out like which one it is or which one it was. And granted, I haven't been back for a while, but they haven't updated me with anything. So,
Dang.
Still haven't found out why. And quite frankly, I don't know if they ever will. And I've had to come to peace and come to terms with knowing like, why would I spend so much time thinking about like what happened and spending hours and hours researching, well, why did I have this cardiac arrest? Or it's like, what do I do in spite of it? Like, this happened to me for a reason. I don't believe in accidents. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that this like truly happened for me. And it just came at such a strange time. Like the timing of it was all like, okay, like I had these like all of these like new life changes that were going on, and I had these like all these plans of what I was going to do next in life. And in my opinion, I was like, okay, that's just like, God telling me, hey, I have other plans, and you just got to like trust and surrender and know that this is a part of your plan, even though it might not seem like it's in line with what you want or what your own ambitions are. So yeah, it's been crazy, man.
Dude, what a story.